Good morning. Good morning, Barbara. How are you this morning? Yeah, wait until we'll see if a few more people come in. Can everybody hear me okay? Bring in the clowns. I love that, Barbara. It is. It's getting to be like a circus in both cases. Like at least, in the Letecia Stauch case. Good morning, Chi-Chi. Good morning, Tracy. Yeah, I haven't heard too much talk on this Letecia stuff, so, and I haven't heard anybody mention these new motions yet, either in the Lori and Chad case, so I decided I would jump on here instead of making a post, which is so, I don't know, you can't really interact in real time. Yes, good morning, Tracy. Good morning to everybody. I appreciate you all coming in so early in the morning. But I wanted to go over the new filings. As we know, we'll start with the Lori and Chad debacle. As we know, they had that hearing, almost 2 weeks ago now, where they vacated the March 22nd hearing that was supposed to be for a motion to dismiss all their charges and for the change of venue. As you guys know, I went live and tried to cover that motions hearing back a week and a half or two, or maybe 2 weeks ago. And they went into a closed session and we really didn't get to hear what was going on. Now, there's a lot of speculation going on with even the legal community as to what happened behind closed doors, because we didn't get to hear it. They went into a breakout session, and I noticed when watching that back that Mark Means looked really peeved, and John Pryor kept giving these weird smirks. So it led to some speculation there, but I really didn't comment on it until maybe I heard some more things coming out, right? Good morning, Wilma. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning, allegedly so. Hello, hello, and good morning. So we don't know what was said behind closed doors, right? But things that have happened since then, being that I worked in the legal field, and like I said, I'm in Canada, so things are slightly different from Canada than they are in the US. And being that this is in the middle of COVID, they're having this all remotely. Breakout sessions would usually be sidebars, at least here in Canada, where the lawyers would go up to the judge and whisper back and forth about what they, want to say in private. Well, here they have to do this sidebar thing where they go into another room. There was a whole big thing about that, trying to get that to work properly. They've been having a lot of issues. Like I know Zoom and WebEx and everything has been having a lot of issues. So hopefully things get back to some kind of normal soon. But I mean, I kind of like this too, because we get to sit in the comfort of our home and watch all this being streamed, right? So I don't know if maybe this is going to pick up to be a new norm, because it would save a lot of courts time and stuff like that, right? A lot of funds would be saved compared to in court, because of security measures and stuff like that. It's a lot easier doing it this way. So I think they may, even once this COVID stuff is over, I think they may adopt this WebEx and Zoom and stuff like that um, into the new norm. Even when the courts open up again, I think you're going to have a choice whether you want to be in person or if you want to watch it over a platform like this, right? Which would be good for all of us, because I'm in Canada and I know a lot of yous are out of state from a lot of these cases, and we can just pop on the Zoom or into the WebEx and see what's going on if we want to follow it, right? Open to all public, not just public in the jurisdiction or the public that can actually make it there in person. So I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. It's got its goods and its bads, right? So one of the things is this sidebar. When they go into a breakout session, you don't get to see the reactions on their faces. And that sometimes tells a lot, right? So we don't get to see that. So that's one disadvantage of doing the WebEx or Zoom. But with that being said, they did go into this breakout session. We don't know what was said. We can't even read faces in it. So Lord knows what was said, but there's speculation even in the legal community. So, and I know personally, I've talked to lawyers that I worked with here in Canada and tried to get their take on it, you know, so we have some opinions on it, but nothing is verified. I believe that there is going to be murder charges coming. Now, there's been a lot of murders surrounding these two. Chad Daybell, the murder of his wife, the murder of JJ and Tylee. Alex Cox died. Okay, where Chad Daybell was very much involved with Lori at that time. With Lori, she's got 2 ex-husbands. She's got 2 kids that are dead. Like, death just seems to congregate around these two. So it's like, this isn't, you know, it's not coincidence anymore. You got to think deeper than that. And I believe that there are murder charges coming. And if you guys remember a couple months back, I had said, everybody's saying, why isn't there murder charges? Why isn't there murder charges? And I was trying to explain, and it's hard to do when you're typing out something and posting it rather than speaking it. Things get jumbled and people really don't follow. And I have a hard time too following, like, okay, well, what are they actually trying to say? Because you can't get the tone, you can't, you know. So what I said a couple months back was, I believe that they want to get this trial that they're going through now for Lori, for she's still facing those first set of charges where she wouldn't produce the kids and that, and abandoning them. She's still facing those charges. And then the charges of them together. Sorry, you guys, I muted myself there for a minute, I had a cough. So there's a bunch of different things going on. Hello, Wilma. Good morning. Good morning to everybody coming in. Hello, Darlene. Yes, I am live right now, Darlene. Yeah, Wilma says, yeah, I like seeing them in court because I'm not in the same town as them, want to see and hear what's going on. Exactly. So that is one of the advantages of this. Like, I'm in Canada. So, you know, if it was regular court where everybody had to go to court, we wouldn't be able to see this, right? We'd just be able to read about it. And even me from Canada, you guys, I have a hard time finding information on cases because it pops up Canadian things. It's a pain in my butt, and I don't know how to get around it. People are saying they don't have a hard time finding different things, and I guess it depends on which browser or which thing you're using. But I really, really have to dig sometimes 2-3 hours to get some of the information that you guys get right away when I Google stuff. It's really hard. So I do appreciate all you ones that are sending me the links to things, I really appreciate that, because otherwise I wouldn't find them. Like, I really have to dig to try and get some of this information, and it's just weird. So yes, Wilma, I agree. And that's one of the benefits of having this. Darlene says, I haven't gone to sleep yet. Been busy all night researching, ending up in so many rabbit holes. I get you, Dee. Like, what did I just say? Welcome to my nightmare. Okay, so getting back to this Lori and Chad thing. So what I had said a couple months back was I was very confident that murder charges are coming. Now, because, good morning, Barbara, because dog pile search engine, I got to write that down. Dog pile search engine. I will try anything at this point, because here I go, sidetracked again. I did a read yesterday on that little boy, James, that's missing. And I believe the mother killed him. Then I had a lot of my subscribers in the comments section giving me a lot of information, even though I went on Google and I did find out some things, like that she's been arrested, the baby's still not found. There's some things that I have been able to find, but there was things that the subscribers have been giving me that apparently the father of the baby is in jail for killing his mother. Now, I haven't verified this yet, you guys, so I will be jumping into that and searching up on that to verify it, but this is what's being said, that apparently the father of James is in jail for murdering his own mother, and the mother of Delaney, who is the mother of James, her mother is apparently in jail for killing another grandbaby. So, I mean, this is stuff I've never heard of, and I did a lot of searching and I never found any of that. So those things that the subscribers did put in the comments, I will be looking into that and maybe getting the links to where they got that from. So that's major. That's major, you guys. So yeah, like I said, it's very hard for me to get information like that. So I'm glad that I can go directly to the court records on the Letecia and Lori Vallow, Chad, Daybell stuff. I've got the actual court docket and court filings link. Hello, Melinda. How are you, my dear? Haven't seen you in such a long time. I miss you. I love you too. So we were talking about, before I got sidetracked with the baby James, what I said 2 months ago about the Lori and Chad Daybell, and this is my opinion, is they wanted to get these charges and these court dates done so they can lock them into certain things that can't be changed. Because once you say something in court, you're locked to it. So I think there's a few little bits that they need to solidify their case for the murder charges that they feel they may get from these trials that are happening now regarding finding the kids on Chad Daybell's property and the desertion charges and everything that Lori is still facing, her initial first charges. Now, because Alex is dead, they need a few more tidbits, I think, before they can solidify those charges. I think those charges are sitting there waiting to be laid. But I think that they wanted to get this trial done first. So they locked Chad and Lori into certain timelines and things that they say in this trial that may help them solidify the murder charges. Now, as you all know, Tammy Daybell's autopsy has been sealed. So questions again regarding that. Why is it sealed? What is in there that could alter the case that's going on now? That's how we got to look at, and retired Sergeant Melinda would probably agree that there's things that they still need to keep secret as to not give an upper hand. because once they lay a charge, they have to give all information as to probable cause as to why. So I think there's some things there with Tammy's autopsy and stuff that they have regarding the murders that they want to keep close, that they don't want out there yet. Okay? They don't have to give that information yet until the charges are laid regarding it. You had medical, oh my gosh, Melinda. Melinda says she had medical issues and hospitalized. My baby girl, 10 years old, saved my life, CPR. Oh my God. Well, Melinda, we are so grateful to your daughter. Kids are smart these days, but thank God she was there and she could help you, and she deserves a medal for that. Right. So, and this is what I am trying to say, you guys. Once, if they lay the murder charges right now, they have to give all disclosure regarding that. Okay. So I think there's things there that they don't want made public yet, and they don't want the defense to have yet. They want to get through this case and lock them in to what they're going to say time-wise and what excuses this and that. There's tidbits that they think that they're going to get in the trial that is coming up. I believe, and this is my opinion, I believe that they want to lock Chad and Lori into a timeline and into certain things, and they want that on court record before they lay these murder charges. I think that there's going to be some things in this trial that come out that they lock them into saying in court that they are going to use to solidify the murder charges. And I think they're just waiting for those little tidbits before they lay the charges. That's what I believe. Woman says, I hope you can find if there a bank or something close to her home to see if they, yes, Wilma, this is regarding the read I did yesterday on baby James. I got, we're jumping back and forth here, and that's okay. And if there's anything else that you guys know that I haven't come out with, please put it in the comments. Nearing the end of that read, as I got more cards that come out, and I was drawn, I've never drawn that many cards, you guys. And for yous that watch a lot of my reads with my ancestor deck, excuse me, I never draw that many cards, and I was almost compelled to keep drawing cards because there was more that needed to be said. And nearing the end of that read, I got something about wealth and the financial. So it's like, and then I was shown things intuitively from my ancestors, something about a bank or somewhere where there's a bank or financial, like a mortgage company, something to do with money and wealth. It's near there or behind there. And then I got dumpster. So I believe she threw this baby into a dumpster. And if that's what happened, that baby's long gone. Like they're going to have to go through the dump. But that's what I believe happened. I think, and it's very close to her home I got. So that's some information there. I do know that I got some information too, that they searched a park that she was seen at late at night. But I don't think she disposed of him at a park. I think it was in that dumpster by this financial place. Now the financial place could be a bank because there's a mortgage company, a lending company other than a bank, but it's something like that, and it's near her home. So, well, thank you, Darlene. Yeah, like all the murders of these poor kids and the women going missing, like this COVID And I think it has a lot to do with the COVID and the lockdown. Like, people are losing their damn minds. Yes, or this, yes, Melinda, it could be that too. A life insurance place, something to do with wealth, money, stuff like that. Okay, so FBI is involved and is checking landfill. Is that the baby you're talking about, Melinda? Is that baby James? Yeah. Yes. So, Linda, what I got, and this is from subscribers, because like I said, in Canada, I have a hard time finding information for some reason on a lot of cases. It's especially if they're either really new or really old. We don't get that yet. I get everything Canadian coming up. So, um, the things that I have gotten from subscribers that I haven't been able to verify yet is, like Linda says, apparently the grandmother of James has killed children. Yes, I heard, and I got tons of emails regarding this too, that apparently the mother of the baby, Delaney, her mother killed another grandchild. And then I also heard the father of baby James killed his own mother. So, oh, thank you, Melinda. Yeah, if you can maybe, Linda, let me know. Because after I got this information from the subscribers in the comments and in my emails, I went to try and look for that and I still couldn't find it. So I can't verify it yet. But yeah, apparently Delaney Cherez's mother killed one of her other grandkids, is what's being said. And then I also got that the father, I don't know his name, but the father of baby James is in jail for murdering his mother, is what I was told in the comment section. So yeah, if you can look into that for me, Melinda, I would appreciate you girls so much. I love you. My sister from a different mister. Flower Child says, Jesus, what in the world happens to people that they can kill a helpless, innocent child, right? It's sad. It's like they're so innocent. They've done nothing wrong, you know? Darlene, what are you talking about? I see from military accident. Who is that? What are you referring to there, Darlene? Am I echoing you guys? Oh, I thought I was echoing. I hate laundry, yes. But I'm seeing this is something. Yeah, is there a casino near? See, I'm trying to, Melinda, maybe you can help me here too. I'm trying to figure out her address, where she lived. So I can go to Google Earth to her address and see if I'm drawn. I can be drawn to the place where the baby was. So is there any way Melinda, that you can find that out for me. I did get a message from somebody that she lived in a trailer. I did go to at a trailer park. I did go to maps, and there are tons of trailer parks, so I don't know which one she was at. Okay, thank you. So, okay, so back to this debacle that we have with the Lori and Chad case. I think I've gone over that, but there's that there is just like, oh, it's just getting me on my nerves. Yes, Echo went missing too. There's a few cases, you guys, that you guys can go back if you haven't seen. I did do a read on Michael Chambers. I did do a read on Echo Lloyd. Thank you, Melinda. And if you can email me, that would be great. Darlene, no, I don't think there's any new news on either of those cases yet. Okay, so then with the Letecia Stauch, let's get back to this. I'm confused with all the comments. Me too, Tanya. Look at squirrels. I think a lot of when I jump on the lives like this, I thought it would be like a 20-minute live, but yes, this is why I do a lot of posts in the community when I get things that have come up, but I feel like it's so impersonal and people don't get to ask questions like this and get answers right away. So when I do get on a live like this, even though there are two things that I want to cover. One is with the Letecia Stauch and her letters and everything, and the Lori and Chad Daybell motions that have been filed again. I want to get to those, but we've been jumping all over the place, which is fine, because people want to know about other things that, you know, sometimes when I just make a post, I don't always check the comments right away, you guys. So we've been jumping all over to, like, it's a free-for-all this morning, you guys. So, and I don't mind chit-chatting with you guys and giving you information maybe that you don't have, or answering some of your questions. We got retired Sergeant Melinda here, who also does a lot of PI work and stuff like that. That can also, if I can't answer the questions, like I said, because I'm in Canada, so our laws do differ a little bit. So Melinda's here too. So if I step out of line with US law, she can correct me, my girl. Need an ancestor read on echolocation. I believe I know where they moved her remains and have intel regarding Mr. Chambers going through the Texas Supreme Court confidential. You can't give me that then. Anything you want to give me, Melinda, please email me. If you don't want it out in the public, that's fine. Barbara Garrett says, I saw this on Tenny and San Antonio. Okay. Barbara Garrett says, saw this San Antonio area. James Abbey Shiraz, who went last seen with his mother at a pharmacy. Yes, Barbara, I think I answered you made a comment on the video, and I did answer you. When I did the read itself, I had no information. I was just told that there was this little baby, 18 months old, that had gone missing with his mother. Could I do a read? So I did do the read. And then after the read, when I did the information that I could get, I did post, and it did give all that information. She has been arrested, Barbara. She is in jail on, I think it's a $250,000 bond. She has been arrested. She was seen after January 4th. January 4th was the last time they seen her with baby James. She was then again seen on February 21st, again at Walgreens, and she did not have no baby with her. And then she was seen on a bus on February 24th, and she did not have baby James with her. Apparently around March 13th, her family called and reported both her and the baby missing. It's all in the description. Underneath my video, you guys, I always put a description of what I found after my read. But I did get, she was arrested on March 15th. And she's been charged with abandonment. I believe I put that all in the description. So yes, she has been arrested, but the baby still has not been found. Yeah, news aren't always helpful with wrong intel, sadly. Yes, I agree. Thought maybe address would help, even though it's not her address. No, I need her address. I don't even need the exact trailer. I just need to know which trailer park she was living in, because there's several around that area. Darlene says, I understand that when crime is committed by a child under 18, they are charged as a child. Not necessarily, Darlene. 95% of the cases, yes. But there are cases where somebody is charged with a heinous crime under the age of 18 that is transferred to adult court, even though they're under 18. It's been done. But yes, 95% of the cases, if you're under 18, you're charged as a child. But there are cases that I have seen that have been put over into adult court. Okay, so Melinda says, Duty, Ron, and I work with and together. We always get the inside scoop, but only give out information that won't compromise. Thank you, sister. So yeah, so that's what I need, you guys. I don't need the exact trailer that she was living in, but there's several trailer parks around the areas of interest. I'm still trying to get through my first coffee of the morning, you guys. Yeah, and that is also here too. There's no statute of limitations on murder. There's other cases, there's other crimes too here in Canada that there's no statute of limitations. Another one of those is child molestation, stuff like that, rapes. There's no limit on those charges either. So that's why you got a lot of people, even in Canada here, where years later as adults they come back and they press charges against their perpetrator of molesting them as a child. So there's some charges that have no limitations. So some are within, a year. You have to charge within a year. Some are 3 years, some are 5, some are 7, and there's also no limitations. And murder is one of them, and so is molestation. Here in Canada, anyway. Okay, thank you, Melinda. I appreciate you. Glad to see you back, and we are so grateful to have you here. Thank you to your daughter. She deserves a medal. Are adults tried as adults, even if a crime was committed as a child? There's different circumstances, Darlene. It depends on the circumstances of the individual case. Oh, thank you, Melinda. I appreciate you. Melinda says, you're a beautiful soul and bring so much closer to everyone around the world. Melinda, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, see, not always, Darlene. Darlene asks, so are adults tried as adults even if crime was committed as a child? Not all. It depends, like I said, depends even here. And I believe Melinda's saying the same thing about the States. It depends on the circumstances. And Wilma says, it makes me and my husband so mad. There's people who kill kids. Yeah, exactly. And there's so many people out there that can't have kids that would give their right arm for one of these babies, you know? So yes, see, and this is true to Canada, and I think this is across the world. Laws constantly change and update with the changes in society. Like, I remember years back, and I'm damn near 60 now, so I remember back in the day, you could be charged for spitting on the sidewalk. I believe here in Canada, that charge, excuse me, that charge is still on the books, but very rarely used, unless they're trying to get you for something else. And there's some outrageous charges that are still on the books that are never used, that should be obliviated, gotten rid of, get rid of them. Nobody uses them anymore. But thank you, Melinda. I will be watching for those emails. Love you too, girl. And I'm so glad to have you here. Thank God for your daughter. She's an angel. Quick thinking, 10-year-olds. 10-year-olds saving a life. Like, amazing. Amazing. I got body shivers. Thank God for your daughter. Darlene, like I said, it depends. It depends on the circumstances. It depends on what the prosecutor thinks that they can get. So, good morning, Rosie. Yeah, see, we in Florida only recently got rid of spitting on the sidewalk. Like, yeah, I remember back in the day, you could be charged for that. So, I mean, the laws evolve and things change with time. Okay. Absolutely, flower child. For Melinda, you are always so thankful and kind. This world needs more humans like you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Darlene, yes, it's still murder, but you were asking about being charged as a child or adult. It depends on the case. It depends on the circumstances. Like, I'll just give a hypothetical. Um, a 17-year-old is bouncing his little nephew on his knee, and this is just hypothetical, bouncing his nephew on his knee and bounces him too hard, and he goes off the balcony and dies. Is that murder? Is he going to be charged with first-degree murder? You know what I mean? It all depends on circumstances. So, but you take that same instant, that same guy bouncing his nephew or this baby on his knee and looking around with this look on his face like he's angry, and then tosses the baby over the balcony. That's murder. So in the first instance, he'd probably be charged as a child. The second one, intentional murder like that, would probably go to adult court. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say with it depends on the circumstances. Was it intended? Was it premeditated? Has this child done stuff like this before? How old is the child? Like, the knowledge of the child, do they, the mental capacity of the child. There's so much that depends on whether they change it to adult court or not. Okay, so before we go into the Leticia stuff, where I'm going to bring you guys up the paperwork so you guys can see it as I'm reading it. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss before we jump into the Letecia Stauch and the Daybell Vallow shallow Vallow case? I'm going to show you the paperwork on all that. Hello, Christine. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Flower Child, good morning. Kendra, yes, I seen that. This isn't a case that I followed, Darlene, but I'm gonna maybe jump into that one too. I hate laundry, says my ex good riddance daughter-in-law found a site she could print off high school diploma. Leticia probably did the same. Oh. Or she got it fake. We know she did try and get a fake lie detector test, right? Darlene, maybe. Yes. I will write that down. Kendrick Johnson. I wrote that down, Darlene. Good morning, Candalee. Good morning, everybody. So you haven't missed any of the circus because we haven't really started with the paperwork yet. So now that we got quite a few in here, I'm gonna ask you guys, please smash that like button. We got 20 likes and 38 people in here. Please smash that like button. It's free. Darlene says, God, I pray you do it soon. I feel desperate. I know family is desperate. And that's on Kendrick Johnson, Darlene, right? Okay, so there's an answer, Darlene. If someone murders an individual, say 20 years ago, and gets convicted with evidence, they have to go by the date of the offense committed always, and it stinks. Darlene, it's good. I love the interaction. And this is what I said. I was debating. Do I just put this in a post or do I come on a live? And I decided I would come on a live because that way it gives me a chance to interact with you guys in real time. Yeah, so there. Melinda says, so they'll be charged for the crime, usually less time. So it's sad. Like, it is sad. But I know if there's somebody charged with child molestation, I know here in Canada, it doesn't matter. Like if they were over 18 when they molested a child here in Canada, even if they are charged with it 20 years later, they're charged as an adult. So as long as they were over 18. So, I mean, there's a little bit of difference in the law between Canada and the US, but I know that there has been cases even in the US that there's been such a heinous crime with history of violence and stuff like that where kids have been put over into adult court. It's very rare, but it has happened. New sheriff in town and evidence. Yeah. And sometimes new eyes on something is good. So, okay, Rosie wants to know, hi, Melinda, how are you feeling? Yes, Melinda's daughter saved her life. She was in hospital, Rosie, and if it hadn't have been for her daughter, Melinda may not have been here. So her daughter is a true hero, deserves a medal for saving her mom's life. So she has spent some time in the hospital, but she is back. Thank the good Lord. And we are happy to have her back. So Rosie says there's no statute of limitations in Australia when it comes to crimes. Doesn't matter how long ago they happened. See, every country is different and they're going to have their own set of rules. So yes, me too. I'm so glad that she is okay. Thank God her daughter is 10 years old, saved her life. So thank God. Like sometimes we don't give kids credit until something like this happens, and we don't realize how smart some kids actually are until something like this happens. And her daughter does deserve a medal. But we are very thankful that Melinda is still here with us. She's been some help on some of the things that I've been working on behind the scenes too, you guys. So I mean, I appreciate her. She really helps out a lot with US law and stuff like that, because there is, like I said, it differs, and I'm in Canada, so she gives a lot of help, a lot of insight. Candelicia's prayers and continued good health for you, Melinda. Thank you, Candalee. I'm sure she appreciates that. And Christine, an amazing daughter. I bet you're proud of her. I think everybody should be proud of her, and I'm sure Melinda is very proud of her daughter, but we should all be giving her a kudos. She deserves a medal. A medal. Imagine 10 years old and saving your mom's life. Like, she'll never forget that, ever. I don't think anybody that knows will ever forget that, you know? That's something that, with so much bad going on in the world, you hear something like that and it just warms you up. There. Hello, Linda. And this says you're doing awesome work, retired Sergeant Melinda. Yes, she is. Okay, so are you guys ready to jump into the paperwork? We will start with Leticia. Yes, thank you, Christine. Thank you, Christine, sending Melinda some healing hugs, some healing prayers. Thank you. Yes, Canada, Australia, as well as England and stuff like that are all part of the Commonwealth. We go right back to the British North America Act is where our laws are derived from, with the English law, yes. And the US, yeah, has a whole different, but they are very much the same in a lot of areas too, Rosie. But yes, Canada, Australia, England, there's a lot of countries that go, that their laws are derived from the BNA Act, so, which is the British North America Act. Wilma says, prayers are with you, Melinda. What happens if the death penalty? No. If the death penalty is not in effect, because the death penalty is a penalty stage of a trial or a case, it comes into the sentencing part of the trial. So if the death penalty is not on the table when the charges are laid, then I don't believe we don't have the death penalty at all in Canada. So, but I do believe it's when you're charged. If you are charged and the death penalty is not in effect when you are charged, when the charges are laid, then it won't be on the table for sentencing. And that's in the sentencing phase, whether they get the death penalty or not. Okay, so I'm going to go to sharing my screen, you guys, so I can bring up the paperwork. So you guys, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make this full screen so you guys can see it better. I will make it full screen. There we go. Okay, so this is Leticia. So this was filed. Where's my paper? Where's my paper? I'm scattered today. Okay, so this was filed on the 19th. Now, I did make a post the other day about Leticia writing more letters. Now, there was a hearing that was done, I believe, sometime this week, where it was brought out that Leticia had filed some more paperwork, and there was other stuff that had gone on, so they had a hearing on it. But this was filed on the 19th with the court. So, and this has already been heard. So I'm assuming that this was done in private. Okay. So this is an order request for unsealing of letters from the defendant, which is Leticia. So on March 8th, letters addressed to Judge Werner. So there's two judges she wrote, and Judge Bain were filed by Ms. Stauch. Both letters in both of the above references cases were sealed by the clerk's office. So as soon as they came in, the clerk sealed them for some reason. When they were filed, when she filed them into the continuing record, she sealed them, so we couldn't see them. The people have not been able to review the letters because they are sealed. The people request both letters be unsealed. So, and actually it was Judge Werner that asked that these be unsealed. Okay, so the court has reviewed the letters from Stauch. They are criminal justice records as defined by CRS 24-72-302-4 and are presumptively open for inspection by any person pursuant to CSR 24-72-303-1. They are also court record, as that phase is defined in section 3.03A1 of the Chief Justice Directive 5-1, amended October 18, 2016, pursuant to section 4.10 of the CJD 50-01. Oh my gosh, all these numbers. Information in the court record is accessible to the public unless prohibited by section 4.60. Nothing in section 4.60. I'm going to leave out these other little things, or the CJD prohibits public access to Stauch's letters to Judge Werner. To the extent information contained in the letter could be construed as referring to prohibited items contained in section 4.60D, section 4.60D provides the letter itself shall be accessible to the public unless the court orders otherwise. This court declines order otherwise. As such, the court orders the letter from Stauch to Judge Werner be unsealed. So we're going to get that letter. Okay, now on to the letter that she sent to Judge Bain. Now, Judge Bain was the one that heard her conflict of interest motion. Now, with the conflict of interest motion, the prosecution was not allowed to be there. Okay, so this was with a totally different judge. But she's still not happy with that judge either. Now, we didn't get to hear that because it is under seal. What was discussed in that hearing for the conflict of interest, we are not allowed to know. So Judge Bain is the judge that ruled over that conflict of interest, where she wanted to decide to be her own attorney and get rid of her attorneys. Okay, so we're not allowed to hear anything that happened in that hearing, because there's confidential information in there somehow, some way. We don't know what it is. Okay, so the letter from Stauch to Judge Bain is also covered by the same statutes and CJD, referenced above. However, it appears to address items related to Stauch's request for a conflict hearing. Section 4.60A provides that information contained in court record is not accessible to the public if court rule or a court order prohibits disclosure of that information, which they did. It's still under seal. We can't hear it. The hearing before Judge Bain was closed to the public and prosecution pursuant to the procedure set forth in People versus Beauregard 223P.3D Colorado 210. Communications in Stauch's letters fall into the same category. So as such, the court orders Stauch's letter to Judge Bain remain sealed. So we're not going to get to see the letter that she sent to Judge Bain. But apparently she's not happy with Judge Bain. Something, I guess, to do with that conflict of interest hearing that she had that is sealed. And we know that Judge Bain refused to make a ruling in that hearing and sent it back to Judge Warner to make a ruling on, which that ruling was regarding her representing herself. Judge Bain ruled on that she's now representing herself. So we know the outcome of that, right? So that's that, you guys. So we are going to get that letter. Now, the next thing with Leticia, this was also filed on the 19th. Okay, so this is amended motion for appointment of an investigator. Now, before we get into this, I've already caught it. This irritates me when a lawyer files motions. Make sure your motions are on point with no mistakes in them. So this Josh Tolini, who has been appointed advisory counsel for Leticia, filed this amended motion for appointment of an investigator. Now, why they want this? Hey, Dee, hey, sister. Sorry, I haven't been watching the chat. Good to see you here. I just seen you here. I'm sorry, Dad. I wasn't going to bother you because I know you're having homeschooling hell. So I wasn't going to bother you, and I didn't know if you were up. I'm sorry. But anyway, getting back to this. Now, where was I? Just look at a squirrel. I lost my train of thought when I see my sister come in. Yeah. Okay. So Leticia was given this advisory counsel, Joshua Tolini. He irritates me already because things that he's done, he's given Leticia paperwork that she shouldn't have got, that wasn't already under court order to be able to be given to her. He's doing a lot of fishy stuff, I find. So yeah, I haven't been able to look at that yet, Dee, because I wanted to get this up and out, but I am going to look at that. Please smash that like button on your way in, you guys. 31 watching. I only got 28 likes. Come on. It's free. It's free. Squirrel. Yeah, I'm still waiting for you to come through my back door, Des. Anyway, okay, so she was given this advisory counsel, blah, blah, blah. He's done some shady shit already. And now he's filing paperwork and for Leticia, and he's not even checking over his paperwork before he files it, which is irritating to me because he's already started to do some shady shit. But anyway, getting on to that. As you guys, I let you guys know the last time when Leticia decided she wanted to be her own attorney and represent herself, I felt that there was ulterior motives. One, she wanted to directly face Al and Landon, directly, face to face, because she has the right to cross-examine them. Two, she has a right to interview them. It's like one more stab that she can take at Al and Landon. Okay? Three, she gets to see all her evidence, all the evidence and all, you know, almost like trophy pieces for what she did. And the other thing that is stuck in my mind Is she using this? She's doing a lot of complaining about being in shackles. She's being, this is some that I've already got from behind the scenes already. Okay, you guys, which we don't have her letter yet. It hasn't been filed into the record yet, but believe me, I will go live with that as soon as I get it. I check 2-3 times, sometimes a day. That's how I've gotten this. This was just filed late yesterday. So I believe, with what I already know, which I think is going to be in this letter when it's available, is she's complaining about being shackled when she's going over her paperwork and when she's in the law library, that because of these restraints, she can't access the computer properly. Like, what are you going to come up with next, Chuck? But there's a lot of complaints about her restraints. She wants out of those restraints. So does she think that not being in restraints in the law library, that she's got some way that she's going to try and escape? This is what I'm thinking, you guys. Her wheels are turning. Those hamster wheels are turning in her head, okay? I think she's trying to figure out a way to escape. So now that she's her own lawyer, look at, I can't have shackles on. I can't type on the computer. I can't do this. I can't do that. You're holding me back from being able to represent myself properly. I know she's going to use this. I see it coming. I see this coming, you guys. The library. Anyway, and also she wants all these stacks of paperwork in her cell. Why? Is she going to make a paper airplane and try and, it's been said she's losing a lot of weight. Is she losing the weight so she can get on her paper airplane that she's going to make with all this paperwork? She's going to make a big paper airplane that she can get in and fly out of the jail. A little bit of humor there, but you never know what's going on in her hamster brain. But it's like she's lost a lot of weight and she wants all this paperwork in her cell. Why does she want all this paperwork? Is she going to try and start a fire or something with it? Why does she want all this paperwork? It's a security risk for obvious reasons. What is she going to use this paper for? What does she think she's going to use this paper for? We got to think of all this. This is what's going on in my mind. My wheels are turning too. Trying to get inside a killer's mind is draining, to say the least, and scary. But this is what is in my train of thought right now, is she's doing this and wanting to be her own attorney, not only to be able to see her handiwork that she did and gloat over it, she also wants to go face to face with Alan Landon and just dig that knife a little deeper, no pun intended. And she's going to use this as maybe a means to escape. Okay? So before the court date, before her trial, she is allowed to interview all the witnesses that the defense intends to call, which means Al, Landon, I don't want to say her name, their little girl, and every other witness to this case. Leticia is allowed to interview. So now she is asking, because I believe that there is a no contact order between her and Al and Landon and Lena and all the other witnesses. Well, now that she is her own attorney, she's entitled to that. So what happens with that no contact order? Well, she needs an investigator to interview them. So she's filed this with the court. Well, her advisory counsel, Joshua Tellini, has filed this. They want the court to appoint a state investigator for Leticia that can go out and interview Al, Landon, etc. But look at this. This is Joshua Tellini, her advisory counsel, filing this in the court. Comes now Letecia Stauch, and by his, do you guys, these lawyers, do they not go over their own paperwork before they file it? Letecia Stauch, by and through his, has she had a sex change? Maybe. Who knows? Anything's possible with Leticia. Maybe she has. Has she had a sex change? Anyway, we'll go by what her advisory counsel says, that she is now a he. Anyway, and hereby requests the appointment of an investigator, Caitlin Crack, as at the state's expense. Number one, Ms. Stauch needs an investigator to interview witnesses and serve subpoenas. Ms. Crack will also be able to go to CJC and interview media-based discovery interviews with Ms. Stauch. I hate laundry says, in my mind, paper can be used as a weapon. Paper cuts hurt like hell. They do. Candalee Stone says, I hear they aren't going to give her all the paperwork. They said it was too much. They said they will give her digital access. Yes. So apparently now she has been given 4 hours a week in the law library. And there is going to be, she's got 1,800 or so pages already, plus another 200 to 400 pages that Joshua Tellini decided to give her that was not part of the discovery. What is that 200 to 400 other pages that Joshua Tellini decided to give her? Who knows? He says that it's information for her that he thinks she needs to be able to defend herself. So she's got over 1,800 pages right now, and they are the stuff that's going to be on digital that she's going to have to review. That's why she's asking for an investigator, because there's stuff that they can't possibly have typed out in time, which is telephone interviews, photos, stuff like that. They're going to put on a disk that she has to view on the computer in the law library. So, but a lot of pages still more are going to be coming to her. Okay, so this is what they asked for. Okay, for an amended motion for an appointment of investigator, and here's the order on that. The judge ordered the proposed motion order attached here to granted. So that's a proposed order for the investigator. The judge granted her an investigator, which the state is going to have to pay for. So I'm going to go back here, you guys, so I can see here. And then we'll go over the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. That's interesting, you guys, because to me, it's just weird. And you'll see why. Okay. I'm just reading some of the comments, you guys. Computers 52 says she can paper fold a rope out of it like we did gum wrapper in the old days. Yeah, see, I know the jail is opposing it because they said the amount of paperwork would constitute a safety risk. Yes, Candalee, yes. A lot of it's going to be on digital stuff, like telephone interviews, stuff like that are going to be on, because it's just too much. Like at the beginning, she said, I'm prepared to go ahead. So let me just get my calendar here. Where's my, and I am such a mess this morning, you guys. Yeah, she said that she was ready to go for her proof evident great hearing when she decided she wanted to be her own attorney. The judge asked her, are you ready to go on the 11th for the proof evident presumption great hearing? Oh, yes, 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 yes. Well, we all know how that turned out, right? She's not ready, and everything's been postponed now. So a lot, and now the hearing is set for, let me just get my trusty calendar here. Now it's set for May 20th. So for something that was supposed to happen March 11th for the proof evident presumption great hearing that she says she was ready to proceed with has now been moved to May 20th. 2 months. Like she's, she gives me a headache. Yes, as per the lawyer, she has a right to interview them, but they also have the right to refuse to speak with her. Absolutely. Rosie says, how's that going to happen in jail? I believe that you're talking about her interviews. That's why she asked for this investigator. Oh, I muted myself, you guys, so you don't hear me coughing. Darlene says, hate to say it, but suspect's father is an FBI agent. Whose father? Who are you talking about, Darlene? Please tell me. The paper mache had to put under her pillow. Yeah, well, the jail is saying it's a security risk, so I don't know why, but there's something going on there. Thank you, Des, for putting up the links. Leticia's father is an FBI. What? Serious? Leticia's father. Des, are you saying that Leticia's father is an FBI agent? Yeah. I don't think that's exactly what was said, candidly. She cried to the judge she didn't have enough time to prepare because she didn't have a lawyer. I think what the comment she made was that she doesn't have access to a lawyer or her lawyer. And the judge had said this was the last hearing that we weren't allowed to broadcast. She says, well, I don't have a lawyer or something like that. Like, so this is making it hard. And he said, well, this is what happens. And we warned you about representing yourself. So she, like, you can't have it both ways. You didn't want a lawyer. You want to represent yourself. Well, he explained to you, the judge explained to her what that entailed. She had various opportunities where the judge re-asked her, are you sure you want to represent yourself? So before this last hearing, and she said yes. Now she turned around and said, well, I don't have access to a lawyer. And he said, well, this is what happens when you choose to represent yourself, and you were given many opportunities to change your mind before today's date. And she didn't. So yeah. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. So are we ready? Any other things regarding Leticia? And we can move on to the new filings in the Dumbbell Circus. Yes, the judge explained that that was her problem because she decided to represent herself. And she was given this information, you guys, when they had the hearing, okay, for her to represent herself. And the judge actually had more patience than I would have. And he went over and over and over and multiple times tried to deter her from firing her lawyers and representing herself. And he went over some of the things that were gonna be of concern with her representing herself. He went over some of the things that she was going to have a problem with. Do you still want to represent yourself? Yep, 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 yep. Okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? If he is FBI, she's screwed. Who? If who is FBI? Are we talking about? I've never heard of Leticia's father being an FBI. I've never heard that. Okay. Okay, guys, we're going on to the next ones because I've got to. I've got to get off soon. Okay. I think this was the Letecia. Yes, okay. So this is the next thing that's been filed with the Vallow-Daybell. And as you can see here, okay, a notice of a remote hearing, and this has been redacted. It is set for April 7th at 1:30, a status conference. And this is only for Chad. Okay? This is only for Chad. You can see it right here. Okay, so there is a hearing date set, a notice of a remote hearing for Chad on April 7th. Okay, now as we know, the March 22nd hearing was vacated, and that was supposed to be to drop all the charges and for a change of venue. That's been dropped. So now this has come in where Chad is having a hearing by himself on April 7th. The next notice we're going to look at is here for Lori only, and hers, look at, is on the 22nd of March at 3 o'clock. The other hearing that was set for March 22nd was at 1:30, I believe, and that was to motion to dismiss all her charges and to change venue. That was set for a motion was set for March 22nd. That was vacated. That was set for March 22nd at 1 p.m. or something like that. That was vacated, dropped. But now there's another motions hearing set for March 22nd at 3 o'clock for Lori. So I don't know if this is just for Lori or if this is for both of them, but it's only listing Lori. There is one over here set for April 7th, a status conference for Chad. Why are these separate now? Now, I could be wrong. I don't know why they're both not listed here, but this is a status conference and it's only listing Chad. And this one here is a motion hearing and it's only listing Lori. So we're going to have to wait and see for on these dates, you guys, and I've checked both of their dockets and both of their filing pages, and there's nothing of this in Chad's for this date, and there's nothing in Lori's for Chad's date. So to me, right now, it's looking like these are just individual things that have been filed. One is for Lori on the 22nd of March, and the other one is for Chad on April 7th. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so the next thing that was filed is by Chad's lawyer. And this is for the both of them. A notice vacating motion to dismiss. Now this is what he filed, you guys, and it's confusing a little bit for me because I don't know what he is actually vacating. If he's vacating just the date, meaning he can bring this again at a later date, or is he vacating what they asked for, which was the dismissal of the charges and the change of venue? This is very, like, John Pryor is just like throwing anything out there now. Like, this is something that somebody still in college would send because they don't know how to send a proper notice. Because it says, you will please take notice that the defendant, by and through his counsel of record, John Pryor, hereby vacates defendant Chad Daybell's motion to dismiss, set for March 22nd. So this is not vacating Lori's. This is only vacating Chad's motion to dismiss. Now, the motion to dismiss, are you vacating just the motion itself and maybe going to set that for another date? Or are you saying you want the actual set of the motion to dismiss all charges and the motion to change venue? Are you dismissing that, or are you just dismissing the date? It's very confusing. Like, this is something somebody still in college would send because they don't know how to properly send notices. Vacating motion to dismiss. It could be either or. And I think he did this, in my opinion, you guys, I think he did this so he can say, oh, no, I didn't vacate the actual motions I want to bring forward to dismiss the charges and change of venue. I just dismissed the date. See what I'm saying, you guys? So this is very confusing, and it's very Law 101. Like, I don't know. So, I don't know. And he's not vacating whatever he's vacating here because it's not clear what he's actually vacating. He's only doing it for Chad, not for Lori. And there's nothing in Lori's docket that says otherwise. So there's nothing in hers vacating this. And I hope if she does file, if Mark Means does file a notice to vacate the motion to dismiss, it's done properly and not like this. So that's what I got. I am going to be watching Leticia's court filings, the filings in her case, the court records. I'm going to be watching that very close, you guys. I will be checking it daily, sometimes 3-4 times a day, to see when that letter is there, and I will bring that to you. Candidly, Rob Wood is having a hearing. Yes, Rob Wood is regarding Lori and Chad. He is bringing in, that is set for Monday, and I will be covering that, you guys. I'll be streaming it. It's set for Monday, March 22nd, and he's bringing in a special prosecutor that deals in homicide. Candidly Stone, the judge has already granted it. No, he hasn't. That's going to be heard on Monday. It has to be done through a motion. So they can't just say, hey, we're doing this and that's it, and not give the judge and the ability to have a ruling on it, because the judge can say no, because that special prosecutor is being brought in from another state and is not licensed in Idaho. So the judge has to okay that. It's not been decided yet. What the judge did decide on about an investigator is for Letecia Stauch. Yeah, see here. There we go. See, not yet, Christine. That will be decided on Monday the 22nd. It's a woman prosecutor. Yes, it is. Okay, thank you, Darlene, for clearing this up. The father of the suspects in the Kendrick Johnson case is an FBI agent still to this day. He is active. Ooh. Oh. Wait, the father of the suspects? See, I don't know nothing about this case, you guys. And I don't want to know too much. I just want to know basically when it happened. Like, Darlene, if you can send me minimal information regarding this case via email, all I need is, I got his name, Kendrick Johnson, how old he was, and when this happened. Like, just minimal information, please, so I can give it at the start of my read. Minimal. So I don't want you to put anything more here. I'm sad to say that, but I don't want any more information on it. Is there a problem with my connection, you guys? I have a terrible connection. I have to boot myself and come back in. Am I buffering? Okay, so Christine says yes, she's a specialist in murders, apparently. Some really bigwig too. I can see the other two spitting feathers when they go to court for this. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be happy. And, you know, I can just see more emotions from the defense, from Mark Means, from John Pryor. They're gonna want this thrown out. They're gonna oppose it. I can just see it. Like, this is a shit show. So that's what I got, you guys. I'm gonna get rid of these all across the bottom here. Okay. Good, no buffering, good. That will change because the elderly gentleman that rents a room from me just got up and he will be jumping on playing his game. We are waiting on a brand new modem. So that's what the problem is the internet, the modem. Back. Welcome back, Dee. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you guys tomorrow. What's going to be happening tomorrow is there's going to be a draw for a free private read from me. It's up to $75 value, you guys. So if you want to enter yourself into that draw, be in my live tomorrow at 1, where I will give the information on how you can enter into that draw. And I will be drawing it live in front of you. Everybody who has entered, what I'm going to do is I will have a little bucket in front of the camera where I put your names in, and we'll be drawing it live right in front of you guys. So you got to be in the chat when that's drawn to be able to win. Because if you don't accept it right then and there in the chat, then I will pick a different name. So be there or be square. That is so passe. Ugh. But, oh well. I said it, can't take it back. It's on YouTube. It's out in the world now. Christine, I do believe that she is being brought in for multiple reasons. And like I said at the beginning of this, if you weren't here at the beginning, I believe that there is murder charges coming, and go back in the video because I explained why. My throat's getting sore and I don't want to have to re-explain it. Darlene, the Kendrick Johnson will be a free read, a free public read. But by all means, if you win the read, you can let me know that you want that to go for the Kendrick read. But it would be a public read. It wouldn't be private. The draw is for a private read. So, private personal read. But that's up to you how you want to use that if you win. If you win, you can say, look, do it now. I won my read, do it now. Do that public read now. Because there are a couple reads I have on the list for I can't talk. See, I haven't had my morning coffee yet, guys. I'm drinking it with you. Right now, I have a couple of reads for the free public reads that are on my list that have been not sitting on the list for a bit. Those would be done before the Kendrick read. So, Darlene, if you win the free read on Sunday, you can say, okay, I want my free read to be public and I want it to be the Kendrick read, and I will do that right away because the free read one is to be done right away. It will be done like in the next day or so after you've won. So you're not on a list for that free read. Yours is done within the next 24 hours of you winning it. So you can choose what read you want, G, if you win. You got to win. Find out tomorrow how that can happen. So you guys, if there's nothing more, I'm going to let you guys go. I've got a ton of laundry to catch up on. But I wanted to get this out, and I like kind of doing this once in a while just to pop up live so I can interact with you guys in real time. I like it. Like I said, I was contemplating just doing a post about it, but that's the way to stay positive, Darlene. I like being able to interact with you guys and get your take on some stuff. So I like it. I Hate Laundry says, maybe I missed it. What are the charges, Lori, that regards huh? Oh my gosh, Des, seriously? Can you timestamp that for me on the video? I know you I seen it this morning when I first got up before I did this live, and I'm going to go back and check. You said you heard some growling in a video somewhere. Or message me, send me a text message on my phone so I can go and check it. But if you heard the baby, can you timestamp it for me? Send it to me via text or Facebook Messenger, how we always do. So you guys, I don't go back and watch my reads because I've just got so much to do that I don't have time for it. But when somebody mentions that they hear something or see something, I go back and watch it, and there's been some orbs too, you guys, in some of my recent videos. So, and it's not, I almost believe it because this is the month that my husband had passed away. So I find I get a lot more activity around me in March because he passed away March 6th. I find I get a lot more activity around the time of his death. So even though it was many years ago, I still, every March, I find I get sick a lot and I get a lot of activity happening. So it doesn't surprise me in a way. So yeah, please send me those timestamps. And I will definitely look at them. Okay, so Des says 12:29 is a growl, and between 12:32 and 12:35 you hear the baby in a raspy, growly voice. Okay, I'm going to write that down. 12:29, and then as a growl, and then 12:32 to 35 is baby. I'll have to put my headphones on too. I hate laundry has a question. I hate laundry. I hate laundry. Oh, cause against Lori about Tammy death. There's a reason. I did talk about this earlier. There is a reason why her autopsy results have been kept under seal. I believe it was Chad that killed Tammy. Just my opinion, but there is a reason. Okay, the baby. I believe. I hate laundry. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Happens a lot. I'm sorry. If you go to my comment, you can click on the timestamp in your comments. It will bring you. Okay, thank you, Des. I heard it without wearing earbuds or headphones. Really? Oh, okay. I will check that. Back to I hate laundry. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get distracted very easily, and I've got. It's horrible. About the Tammy thing, that autopsy results of Tammy is under seal for a reason. They don't do that for no reason. And I believe that it has to do with murder charges coming. But if you and like I said, they want to have this trial that's already scheduled with them finding the baby, with finding the kids, and everything concerned with these charges that they're facing right now. I believe they want to have this trial so they can lock them in on certain things, certain time frames, this, that. There's things that they want to lock Lori and Chad into. They want that locked in. Once you say something in court, it is locked in. You cannot go back on it without perjuring yourself. So I believe that there's information that's going to come out in this trial that is set to go shortly that the prosecution is waiting on, so they're locked in. I believe there's other things that they are wanting. They need some more tidbits for these murder charges. I do believe murder charges are coming in Tammy's death and JJ and Tylee's death. I believe those charges are sitting on the prosecutor's desk and they're just waiting to get that little bit more that they need so it sticks. They have one shot, you guys. And right now, time is on their side because they have the suspects in jail. When they're found guilty of the charges that they're facing now, some of these charges are 5 years. Penalties can be 5 years each. So they know they have them. They are in jail. So time is on the prosecution's side. They are using that time to their advantage to gather more tidbits. Because Alex is dead, and they believe, the prosecution, I believe, thinks they are going to try and pin it on Alex. They're trying to get as much information as they can before they lay these charges. They've got one shot at these murder charges. So they're going to use every little bit of time that they have to gain every little bit that they can for these murder charges. That's why there's no murder charges yet. I verily believe that. Could I be wrong? Yeah, but I don't think so. I think this is exactly what they're doing. They're bringing in this other prosecutor that is very well versed in homicide cases. This prosecutor is being brought in for a reason. She is well versed in this and top notch. So anything that Rob Wood and his posse have missed, this other person is going to catch, is only going to help them, and is going to be able to sit in on this trial that's coming up and see what she can pull from it to solidify these murder charges that will be coming. Don't forget, they get one shot at murder charges. Because Alex is dead and they feel that they're probably going to try and pin it on Alex. Alex isn't here to defend himself. They need every little bit that they can get. I said this a couple months ago, and I'm sticking with it. And it's what I'm getting intuitively. It's what I'm being told. My ancestors are telling me, are just validating what I am thinking. So that's what I think. And I believe that it's Chad that's going to be charged with Tammy's death, as well as JJ and Tylee. And I believe, I'm going to say it now, and then let's see what happens. See if I'm right with what I call. I believe Chad is going to be charged with first-degree murder in Tammy, JJ, and Tylee's death. Lori, I believe, is going to be charged. If she's not charged with first-degree murder, she's going to be charged with conspiracy to commit murder. I don't know that they have enough to convict Lori. And I'm talking not just what we think. Proof, solid proof. I don't think they have enough to convict Lori of first-degree murder. But I think that they are gathering the evidence to nail her with conspiracy to commit murder. Don't forget, they have Alex's and Chad's phone pinging at the same place, at the same time that they believe these kids were being murdered and buried. I believe, and I'm going to put it out there because we're going to see what's going to come out. So I want this out there and on YouTube, on my Solidify. So it's in, I can't say writing, but before this trial starts, this is what I think. Alex's and Chad's cell phones pinged at the same time. So I believe that they are going to be able to, if they want to try and say Alex did it, fine. When they press these murder charges, okay? Chad's going to try and blame, it was Alex. Okay, well, if it was Alex, then you were a party to it. And don't forget, if somebody is killed, if you are present, you are just as responsible. Okay? You don't have to be the actual person who pulls the trigger or does the killing. If you are present, you are just as responsible as the person doing it. So this is what I think is going to come out, is that they're going to try and blame Alex. Okay, Chad, if you're going to blame Alex, you were there. You were there with Alex when this happened on your property, because we have the pings pinging you with him. We have messages that you sent to Tammy saying you shot, what was it, a raccoon or something, and buried it. We've got you admitting on that day that Alex was there, that these bodies were buried, burned Tylee, buried Jay. You were there at these times. Your phone pings with Alex's. You were there. They've got him on first-degree murder. Now, they don't have that with Lori. They don't have the phone pings of her being there. They don't have any phone messages of her talking about it. But they may have stuff that comes out from Chad that Lori did know about it. You see what I mean? That's why they need this trial here to go forward, so they can nail down timelines and things that were said to each other. So I'm locking mine in right now. They're going to try and blame Alex, but in doing so, and I hope to God they're not. Anyway, in doing so, Chad's going to nail himself. He's going to rat out on himself because they can prove that Chad was with Alex the times that Alex was there when these bodies were burnt and buried. Body burnt, and when the bodies were buried. They can say that Chad was there with Alex. They can place him there with Alex. So, buddy, you're going down. Even if you want to try and blame it on Alex, even if Alex was the one who actually did the killings, you were there. You were just as responsible. First-degree murder. Bye-bye. It's going to be harder to prove that Lori knew that. Now, what I don't know is what they have. We don't know what they have against Lori. See what I mean? So now I'm locking that in. I think they're going to have a hard time unless they have, and I know they have stuff that we don't know about, but I'm thinking that they are wanting more information through this trial to pin Lori to. They need more. I think they got enough on Chad already. It's Lori that they don't have enough on to get her for first-degree murder too. I think they've only got conspiracy right now to commit murder on her children, on Tammy, on Alex, on Charles, on whatever. I don't know. But I know they don't have enough on Lori right now. That's what I'm getting. Okay? I think they're going to get more information in this trial that's coming up. Now, what also helps me validate what I just said was when I watched John Pryor, when they vacated the motion to dismiss all charges against them, okay? They said, okay, we're not going to have that hearing anymore. We're not going to change venue, and we're not going to go after having all the charges dismissed. John Pryor was chuckling and grinning and smirking. I think Chad is going to flip on Lori. John Pryor doesn't chuckle and grin the way he did without having something under his belt. And that's what I think it is I think they've come to know now Tammy's autopsy report has been sealed. That scares them. Why? They won't even give it to the kids. So John Pryor right now is saying, oh shit. Okay? With the pings with him and Alex on his property and the kids being buried on his property, John Pryor is going, oh crap. I know it. So what's that chuckling about? Okay, so now we're not gonna go after the charges to be dismissed against Chad and Lori, the charges right now that they're facing, and we're not gonna go for that change of venue. And he's grinning and everything about it. Why? He's grinning because he's got something under his belt. Because I believe right now they don't have enough to charge Lori with first-degree murder. They may have something for conspiracy to commit murder, but I don't think they have her for first-degree murder. That's what I think the problem is. And I think John Pryor, that's his, as Leticia would call it, ace in the hole. I think if they come after Chad, I think John Pryor knows that they could get a conviction on Chad. And Chad, you want to blame Alex, go ahead, because that puts you there too. You're done. And I think that is going to be the point where Chad is going to flip on Lori and say, look, she put us up to it. Something's going to come out there, you guys. Mark my words. Candalee. Was she? Was she? We don't know that. We don't know that, right? I'm telling you, there's things that are being hidden by the prosecution, and that's why they have not brought murder charges, because once they bring the murder charge, they have to disclose everything they have. Probable cause. Why? They don't want to play that card yet until they've got them solidified into time frames and whatnot with the charges they're facing right now. They need timelines and they need stuff that's going to come out in this trial that's coming up. They need that to use in the murder trial. Is this something that is going to come out in this trial about Alex's phone and who actually maybe had it? We don't know. But I believe this is why they are waiting on the murder charges. They're not worried about Chad and Lori taken off to Mexico or something. They're in jail. Time is on the prosecution's side, and they're being smart with using every little ounce of time they can to get more tidbits and more information. How will they prove murder? It can't be proved who did the killing. Sure it can. Sure can, wakey wakey, eggs and bakey. It sure can. It sure can. If one's going to be convicted of murder without the other being convicted, you don't think the one's going to flip? Hey, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. I see it coming. It sure can be proved. Whoever's phone pinged at that time. Believe me, autopsy results can prove when they were at that exact site, and it has proved by their cell phone pings. It's been proved when they were at where Tylee was buried. Cell phone pings put them at that exact spot where her remains were found. You're burying a dead body. Who killed her? If you're doing it, you were present. Even if you weren't the murderer, you were present while it was done. I'm telling you. They've got enough. Yes, they can. And this is what they are. The prosecution is going to go hard for Chad because they can prove Chad was there with Alex. Boom. They can prove that. So if he tries to blame it on Alex, okay, buddy, you just ratted on yourself because you were there. You were there when Tylee was buried there. You ratted on yourself. And once they've given up trying to fight that, you don't think Chad's going to flip on Lori? Right now, they can't prove Lori had anything to do with it. But it's coming. Believe me, it's coming. That's what they're waiting on. They want both. They don't want just Chad. They want both. If your phone pings at a site where a dead body of your family members is found, is that enough to prove murder? I think so. And the phone pinged exactly where. Don't forget the technology today, you guys. They can hone exactly where that phone was. You got Chad and Alex's phone pinging at a site just after Tylee goes missing, where Tylee is found buried. You've also got a ping at a different time, at a different part of the farm, of Chad property, by that pond, just after JJ goes missing. You got their phones pinging there, where JJ is found buried. Come on. You're on a jury. What would you say? Right? They got them charged with tampering with evidence. But they've also got a lot more that we don't know about yet. Darlene, they could have, we don't, like I said, we don't know everything they have. We don't know everything they had. Wakey Wakey says, tampering with evidence. That's what they are charged with right now, and that is to hold them. You don't think since they've arrested them for with tampering with evidence and the burying of the bodies and them being found on his property and whatnot, you don't think that they've been investigating their little butts off since to prove who killed them? And don't forget, this isn't just some random person. This is your stepchildren and niece and nephew that you're burying. Come on. Prove beyond a reasonable doubt what a reasonable person would think. I'm a reasonable person, and I think that proves they killed them. I'm not going to bury my nieces and nephews. I'm going to the cops. Look at my niece and nephew's stepfather is burying. I'm on his property, and he's burying these kids. What? Think what a reasonable person who's going to be on that jury would think. Now, they are on charges with tampering with evidence and a few others. That's to hold them so they can build their case. The charges, the murder charges are coming, I'm telling you. Rosie, that's exactly what here with a murder case here. Huh? They charged the husband with his wife's murder because his phone pinged in the same area where his wife body was found 9 months later. Exactly. And Chad, if he's going to try and pin it on Alex, he's ratting himself out because he was there. If you're at the scene of a crime, you are held just as responsible as the person who actually committed the crime. Wakey, wakey. But I don't know how they will prove who did the killing unless there's DNA forensics. Wakey, wakey. I'm going to say it again. Beyond a reasonable doubt, if you're sitting on the jury and you hear that an uncle is there burying his niece and nephew with the stepfather on the stepfather of your niece and nephew's property, do you believe they killed them? Beyond a reasonable doubt, if I am sitting on the jury and I hear that the uncle, Alex, is burying his niece and nephew on the stepfather's property and the stepfather is also there, yeah, they killed him. Beyond a reasonable doubt, what a reasonable person would think. I think yes. Rosie, look up Karen the day before. Oh, I believe that once these murder charges, and I do believe they're coming, once these murder charges are laid, I do believe that there's going to be a plea on both. But I think that I think they've got Chad, but I don't believe they have Lori, except for maybe a conspiracy to commit murder. They want Lori too. And there was a good point brought up. Was it actually Alex there, or was it Lori with Alex's phone? Okay. Now, like I said, we don't have that information. That could very well be in the prosecution's hands right now. The prosecution is also, okay, if you remember, then they have Alex going from Chad's to get food, to going here, to going here. You don't think they've pulled the video cameras from those locations to see exactly who it was? They're going to pull video because we're going to say Alex's phone left where they buried the kids and went to get food somewhere. That place, somewhere around there, is going to have video. They're going to see who had that phone, if it was Alex or was it Lori. Believe me. Then he went somewhere else. Well, Alex's phone went somewhere else and then went back to his place. If that was Lori, they're going to see Lori with Alex's phone at the food place and the next place, and then going back to Alex's, what, to give him back his phone? You know what I mean? Believe me, they've got more evidence than we can ever imagine. No, if Chad and Alex shared a brain cell, they would have left the phone at Lori's. If Alex and Chad shared any kind of brain cell, I'd be even more worried than what I am. Like, they thought that they could get away with this. Like, wow. So I'm locking in what I think. I'm locking it in. We're going to have to wait and see when this circus gets started. And we're going to have to see how it all plays out. But I do believe, you guys, that they do have Chad. They have Chad. It's Lori. And I believe that they have her on a conspiracy to commit murder, but they want her on first-degree murder too, because I believe too that she's just as responsible. And that's what I think they are. And put it this way, you guys, if it gets to trial and they see that Chad's going down and Lori may be getting off, you don't think Chad's going to flip on her? If I'm going down, you're coming with me. I guarantee you. Courtney says decomp is a science as well. They will be able to tell how long those kids had been buried there, and it will be the same time as the phone pings. Exactly. They have their phones pinging at the exact location where the bodies were found, and they have the days, the times. So that locks Alex and Chad together. Well, Alex's phone and Chad together when those bodies were buried. They have a lot more than just that. They have to put actually very little in that, the proof to arrest them, okay? Thank you, Leah Fernaz. Whoops. Show love and appreciation from Alabama. Thank you so much, Leah. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Keaton Boggs died 1 year ago today from long-term child abuse by his own grandmother. He was 5. Oh my gosh, so many kids. Yeah, Wiki also says, yes, in the Book of Mormon, there's a scripture that Lori twisted. Lori twists everything. I don't understand why they dropped the felony neglect. I don't know that they did, Des. I would have to go back into that record. I will do that, because I have her coming up on her own too, and she is coming up for those charges. Let me just get it here. I know it's after. Okay, Lori is facing those charges starting August 30th. And it's set to run into September. And those are on the initial charges. I don't believe that they have. I will check the record on that, Des. But I don't believe any of those charges had been dropped. It says, I believe they did back when they found the bodies, because they were saying that she couldn't have neglected them if they were dead. She can still have those charges of neglect. I don't know. You could be right, Des. You could be right. Wiki says there's so much circumstantial evidence in the raccoon text. Exactly. There's a lot. And there's not only circumstantial, there's pings that aren't circumstantial. Those are proven facts. So those pings and the days and times of those pings, in conjunction with the times that the kids went missing, the pings themselves are not circumstantial. Those are actual facts. The place where the pings happened and whose phones they were. There was Chad's phone and Alex's phone. Those are facts. The places where they pinged are facts. Circumstantial evidence is that the day. There, you know, but there's also a little factual there. And with Chad saying he killed something and buried it, that text on that day where those pings happened, at the place those pings happened, he said he shot and killed a raccoon and it's now in the pet cemetery. There was never a raccoon found. There was Tylee found. That's circumstantial because he's kind of saying he killed a raccoon and it's now in the pet cemetery. He buried it there. It wasn't a raccoon. It was Tylee. So that's kind of circumstantial. But with the factual evidence, it all comes into play, you guys. And don't forget, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. It's what a normal person who's going to be sitting on that jury would believe to be true. I believe it to be true. I'm not sitting on the jury, but Courtney, absolutely. And that's what I just said a bit ago, about an hour ago. I honestly think that's why Pryor was smiling. He has something on Lori. He knows something that will keep his client from going down alone. Exactly. And it's going to be when they've realized Chad's going to go down. There's more than enough to convict Chad. And what's going to happen is Lori, I think, will be charged with conspiracy because that's all they have right now. Chad knows the truth. So if Chad comes forward with, okay, I'm telling you the whole truth, Lori set this all up, then she's going down. They'll upgrade the charges to first-degree murder. That's why I believe John Pryor was smirking. That's why I believe John Pryor agreed to vacate the motion he filed to dismiss all the charges against his client. There's going to be some deals being made, believe me. I see it coming, you guys. Right. And I think they have Chad 100%. And like I said earlier, they have one shot at this. And because they are in custody and facing this trial that they're facing now, that gives the prosecution time to get everything that they need and start poking the bear. And the bear to me in this circus is John Pryor. Once they've convinced John Pryor that they have enough to nail Chad, Chad is going to flip on Lori. And that's when you're going to see the murder charges coming. Wiki says, I know it's just evil. I shot a raccoon. Yeah, he said, I shot a raccoon and it's now buried in our pet cemetery. The exact time that their phones were pinging where Tylee's burnt body was found. And she says, I'm in the UK. Oh, well, hello from the UK, wakey. So I'm not totally clued up on US law. I'm in Canada. So yes, there are some differences in different countries' laws, but generally they're derived from the same thing. So that is my thoughts on it, you guys, and I'm locking myself into it. I believe that Chad's going to flip on Lori and he's going to go want a deal saying, I'll give you Lori if you take the death penalty off, if there's the death penalty, or if I get a lesser sentence, if I give you Lori. Right now, I think they only got Lori on conspiracy to commit murder. I don't think they got her on the actual murder. Now, unless, like was brought up, that phone. What if Lori did have Alex's phone? And it wasn't Alex actually there. The prosecution will already have that evidence. So I don't think that's the case. I believe it was Alex. Alex and Chad. Because if they had that already, and I'm saying because when Alex left he went to get food, they would have pulled the video cameras from there to see who had that phone. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards it wasn't Lori that had the phone, because they would be nailing her with first degree too. So I believe it's all going to come to head, but I do believe that the murder charges are coming. I believe that Lori and Chad initially were going to try and pin it on Alex. And even if they still try that, that rats out Chad, because Chad was with Alex every step of the way. The phone pings prove it. Lori, conspiracy to commit murder. And I think that if this is done, where Chad's charged with the murder, Lori's charged with conspiracy, I think Chad is going to flip and figure, if I'm going down for murder, you're coming with me, and he's going to give up all the information. That's what I think is going to happen. Courtney says, I want them locked up for life, don't we all? However, there is almost no better justice for those kids than the world to know exactly what they did. There is no hiding anymore, Lori. Your mask is off. Your mask is gone. Sorry. Yeah, I don't want the gory details. I just want them both in jail for life for what they did to these innocent children and the hell that they put these kids through. Yeah, let's see her smirk through her Kool-Aid lipstick when they hit her with that. Right now, she's sitting pretty. She's thinking that she's got away with this. Conspiracy to commit murder, I'll be out in 10 to 15. That's what she's thinking right now, you guys. But, and this is why I think they brought up that marriage certificate. I've got a copy of their marriage certificate. And that's why I think they fought that kind of sort of. And there was things that were thrown out there. You can't force a husband to testify against a wife. But if the husband or wife do decide to testify against each other, they can. So there's a lot that's been thrown out there, you guys. So with that, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I've got tons of stuff to do today. This was supposed to be a half-hour thing just to show the paperwork, but I'm glad that I got to interact live with you guys. I enjoy it. I enjoy all your insight, your theories. Thank you to everybody who's been emailing me with stuff regarding James, the baby James case. I wasn't able to find any of that, so I thank you very much for sending that along to me. I appreciate you. Please continue to do that, because I do have a lot regarding it, and a lot that even when I went searching for some of this stuff, and like if I click the link, I'm brought to it, but then I try and search for it again and I don't find it. So I got to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for helping me with that. It is really a good help. So please do that in the comments. It won't show up right away because YouTube holds links, but rest assured I do see those and I can allow them to be put into the comment section. So please, if you do have a link, please send it. Even though you don't see it come up right away, I will allow it, which will put it into the comments once they're allowed, because it is being held by YouTube for me to go over to see if I'm okaying it being put. Hello, Emily. So please do that. There is a case I've been asked in this live here to do a read on Kendrick Johnson. I've asked for minimal information on that case. I don't like having a lot of information because I don't like to have that on my mind when I'm doing the read. I'd rather just do the read, and even if it doesn't make sense to me, then I go to Google and try and find out what I can, and then it either does or doesn't make sense to me. Okay, but I put it out there as it's given to me, and I would rather have just minimal information, like the person's name, if they're missing or deceased or whatnot, just so, you know, as I'm doing the read, I can see how things are fitting with this and what the person is showing me, how that fits. Okay. A lot of the times when I'm doing these cold reads, and cold reads to me are, I don't know anything about the person's name and that they're either missing or found deceased, what happened. That's generally what I like to get, just that. They're either still missing or they've been found deceased. They want to know what happens. That's what I want to know. Okay. Anything more than that, I don't want to know. I want the cards to tell me. So I'm not swayed by rumor or things that aren't true. Okay. And then I do go into Google after the read and find out what actually went on, what is known. And then I see how my read fits with that. Okay. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be doing the mini reads, and there's going to be a draw for a full private read that one of you is going to win. It's up to a $75 value. So make sure you're there. You must be in the chat when the person's name is drawn, whoever wins. You have to be in the chat. So please make sure you're there. I will give you more information on that tomorrow when we start our live. We will be going live at 1 p.m. Eastern. And at 1 p.m. Eastern, I will give you the instructions on how to win that read, that free private read. So it's not going to be out there for everybody else to see. It's going to be a private read just for you on your topic. Okay? So everybody enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the ones who gave their super chats. And I'm happy to be able to interact with you guys, you know, without doing the reads and stuff like that. This gives me another chance to interact with you guys on a different level. And I enjoy that, because when I'm doing the readings, I don't pay attention to the chat. So I miss a lot of what you're saying. So I think this should be a weekly thing that I can just get on and chit chat with you. Okay, Des, yes, I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Thank you for popping in. And yes, everybody, please stay safe. Please stay safe and take care of yourselves. And I will see you all tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, take care, stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye for now.